Be very strategic and intentional when you build your network. Because depending on how you build your network, it also depends how you leverage it and how you benefit from it. Hi, everybody. Hope you're having a great day. If you don't know, my name is Marta Fernandez. I'm an HR generalist and the host of the podcast, HR Are You Listening? And today I want to talk about a topic that actually everybody talks about, including HR. It's all about networking and building relationships. But as a disclaimer, I want to say that this is more of me sharing my thoughts on how I perceive networking and how it benefits me. I see networking in 2 stages. Stage 1, transactional. Stage 2, interpersonal. Depending on how you build your relationships, it also depends how you leverage it and how you maximize the benefits that comes with networking. So in stage 1, which everybody does, including myself, this is the quid pro quo kind of relationship. This is the one that doesn't require a lot of efforts. This is the one that you ask for a favor from someone that you barely know, and hopefully they say yes, and then you move along with your life. This is the one where you send an email or a DM to someone because they work in a company and you're requesting for a reference. Actually, this type of networking helps us a lot to move forward very quickly in short term. So this is the type of networking that you would want if you need a quick favor to reach to your destination. But at the same time, this has a downside. And the downside is that most of the time in this type of relationships, you don't really get to know the other person. This is just more, hey, you work at the podcast industry, I work at the podcast industry, let's collab. You know, the immediate alignment of goals help you to achieve that relationship. So like, oh, you work in HR, Marta works in HR, you guys need to connect, I'm gonna connect you guys. Kind of that mindset, you get my point. We tend to use this a lot to move forward with our career development in the short term, especially if you're looking for a job. The second one requires more work. And also the second one is a long-term relationship. It's a long-term networking. And to see fully the benefits and leverage this type of relationship, it really requires a lot of work in your end. What does this mean? Well, first and foremost, to be successful in stage 2 of networking in the interpersonal relationship, you gotta be selfless. When you reach out to someone, you cannot immediately expect that they will assist you. And you have to be intentional with to whom you're reaching out. So if you're gonna be sending an email or a DM in LinkedIn to someone, you want to make sure that you really like them for who they are, for what they represent, their ideologies, their thought process, their values, and whatnot. You are not only focusing on what they're doing that moment in time, or the job role, or the company they're working in. You're also focusing as holistically as possible. You're looking into what did they say, how did they comment, and if you see this person and it's calling your attention and you're intrigued and you're curious and you admire this person at the end of the day and you see some valuable knowledge that they provide to you and you want to be part of that world that they are sharing with you, then you reach out to them. But once you reach out to them, you have to be intentional and you want to show that you're genuine, get to know them as a person. You're not looking for a favor right away. The best way to go about this, you just ask for a virtual coffee chat. Hey, let's get to know each other. I would like to know more about you and what do you do and how could I assist. You spend time getting to know each other as a person, as an individual. And when the right time comes, and if you have the right favor to ask, if that makes sense, you'll ask them and they'll gladly be able to assist you. Why? Because they know you as a person. Although I must say that not everybody does interpersonal relationship networking because it requires a lot of work. Your pool in the network is very few. Like you have maybe 3-4 people that will be very solid in that network stage because it takes a lot of time. Think about it as a friendship in the professional world. You don't truly share too much about your personal life, but enough for them to feel comfortable that you are genuine and you want to get to know each other in a deeper level. But your focus is on the professional side. So you talk a lot about work and whatnot, and their side projects and what helps them, what motivates them. And you get to know them in that aspect, in that professional world versus personal. But it's still interpersonal because you're moving forward with the relationship. You're not asking an immediate favor. And I think, in my way of thinking, this is the best relationship you could ever have. Because in the long run, these are the ones that really put the hands on the fire when you need assistance and support. When you ask for a favor to this type of people, and this type of network, they go beyond to assist you because they know what type of person you are. Kind of makes sense, right? But not everybody does this. Why? Because it's time consuming, not to mention energy, and not everybody has the time to do so. Also, in this type of relationship compared to the transactional, you gotta be more strategic and more intentional for you reach out. Because saying that you're gonna be spending time to get to know this person for months and years maybe, you don't want to be talking to the wrong person that you feel as though they're not going to be able to add value to your life. And that's the part of networking. We have to acknowledge that in networking, we always want to ensure that we're getting some value out of someone. That sounds terrible, but it's true. If I'm going to be reaching out to Marta, I want to ensure that Marta is adding value to my life. She's enhancing my life with that positive value or knowledge or information and whatnot. When you do the transactional relationship, you don't really care much about this. You're currently in the present moment. You're only thinking, what can I get in this moment in time? And that's all. It's all it matters. I also want to say that long-term interpersonal relationship, you seek to understand the future. You're paving the path for the future favors. The short-term or the transactional relationship in networking is for the present, in the immediate, in the moment. Based on all the things that I just said to you guys, I want to say this requires you to be very strategic and intentional when you build your network. I personally have both. I sometimes do transactional relationships in my networking, which I do have. And then I have other times I have interpersonal relationship networking, which I cherish and I appreciate the people that I'm working on those relationships because they really add a value to my life. I see them more than just a title. I see them as a person who I'm genuinely intrigued and curious. And that's part of it, right? Like building that relationship with that person that I'm building in that level of networking. I need to be curious. And I also I need to admire them for who they are as a human beings. The last thing I want to say about this is that there's no wrong way to go about networking. It's just how you approach networking. I just think that you need to have a mix of this because sometimes in life, you need to be patient and trust the process and trust the journey itself. And sometimes to ask favors very fast, sometimes you will burn the opportunity. My way of seeing networking, which is kind of a hybrid between interpersonal and personal relationship, helps me out because it leverages my needs and wants as a professional. This way that I perceive networking has benefited me in the long run. I actually have paved the path for future support. I know that they believe in me and they know me and they understand who I am as a human being and as a professional, that if I need a favor later down the path, they will support me. And that is important, to be present of your journey, but also start paving the path for your future. And one of the ways to go about that is to be intentional when you build your network and how you build your network. Leveraging network and its benefits, you need to understand what type of networker you are and what type of person you want to be seen as and perceived as. Well, that's all I have for you guys today. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. Bye, guys.